Okay, so hopefully we are live. Let me just wait a moment for YouTube to show the stream. And after we have that confirmed, I can also post the link in the Discord server. And then we can get going with our little project, which is continuing making this inflatable castle asset that we have started on the last stream. And you can kind of see what our current progress is. So we have 2 slides already built, and then today we'll see what else we can do, and also what kind of other details we can perhaps still add to it to make it a little bit more interesting. And then after we're done with the rig, we can maybe even color it, but I doubt that we'll have time today because it's a pretty large asset and we have still quite a lot to build. And while I think it was like 2 days ago that we had the last stream, I had a couple of ideas what we can add to our model. And the first one was to add a little flag to this tower at the top to maybe make it look a little bit more interesting than it is already. So let's create a child node. We're gonna name it flagpole. Let me see. Okay, it's here. And then let's just duplicate maybe this top part. So this is tower spike 3. So let me scroll all the way down to tower spike 3. And then we can duplicate it and name it flagpole, or maybe tower flagpole in case we make some other flags. Tower flagpole, okay. And that's here. So now of course we can make it a little bit thinner. So maybe it can be 4x4 voxels. And then it can be maybe 32 voxels tall because there needs to be a little part of the flag, and then, well, flag is gonna take some part and then the rest is gonna be like empty. You'll see what I mean. And before we close that, we also should recenter our pivot point just so we have everything as it's supposed to be. Cool. And now let me try to find this flagpole node. Okay, now we can drag it a little bit higher so we can hopefully see what's going on. And then maybe if we turn on the collision boxes or bounding boxes as they're called here, we can also see a little bit better since everything is still in only one color. So now let me just, okay, so here it's at the top. So there's our pole. And then I guess we can make a flag from like 2 or 3 different nodes, so we can make it look like it's waving a bit. But we definitely don't want to animate it, because in that case we would have like a huge bounding box all the way around our asset and nobody would be able to actually go inside it or climb onto it or anything like that. So let's keep that in mind. And then we can just duplicate this tower flagpole, and I guess we can call it, I don't know, a tower flag 0. So this is gonna be like our first part, and then we're gonna add more a little bit later. So now this can be like perhaps half of the flagpole. So the flag is roughly 50% of the height of the pole. So in that case, we can make it 16 tall. And then it can also be a little bit more narrow. So I think it would be the best if we make it only 1 voxel wide, because when we rotate it, we aren't gonna get like so many teeth, as I keep calling them, or like non-smooth surfaces, although that's not really too problematic, to be honest. And then maybe we can extend it a little bit further into the X direction, so maybe it can be like 8 voxels, but we'll see what it looks like in the editor, so that can still be adjusted later on. And then let's move the pivot point to the center here. So on the z-axis it's in 0.5, and then on the x-axis we just move it to 0. Cool. And now let's create a child node. Let's name this power flag 0, I guess. And then I guess we can also rename this node into tower flagpole. Okay. At least I think that's only one word. It's not separate like flag and then pole is the other one. And then we put this here. And let's see, where are you? Okay, here we have it on the right, and then let's extend it outwards a little bit. So it's not gonna be like a huge flag, but even in this case we could make it even a little bit taller and a little bit wider. So maybe we can make it 24 voxels high, and then maybe I don't know, 16 voxels wide. And now let's fill this in, and the pivot point just stays the same because we haven't really changed anything in a way that we would need to readjust the pivot point. So now let's move this downwards just so the top sides are aligned, and then let's create another child node. We're gonna call this one tower flag 1, and this one is gonna be like a little bit smaller. So let me find this model here, and then we can duplicate it into tower flag 1, and then let's put it here, and then let's move it all the way to the right. And then of course maybe we can make it like a triangular shape into the side. Maybe I guess this can look a little bit better. So I guess it can get a little bit narrower towards the end. So in this case we are gonna make it slightly shorter. So I guess 16 would be like about right, and then we can try to center it again. So let's pull this upwards a little bit, so to 4, something like this. Although this is like a pretty large step from here to here. Maybe we can smooth this out a little bit, although yeah, we'll see how many faces we end up with. And then the last one, let's create another child node. It's gonna be called tower flag 2, and then let's duplicate this again. So we have our tower flag 1, this is gonna be tower flag 2, and then this one can be, I don't know, maybe 8 or something like that. So let's see, let's select this one, and then this one can be, yeah, maybe 8. And then let's attach it, let's attach our new model to the node. Then let's extend it all the way to the right, or like not all the way, but just just right enough so we can get our full flag width, and then we can move it 4 voxels upwards, just so we have everything centered as it's supposed to be. Okay, so this looks pretty good for our flag, and then if we want to, we can maybe rotate it a little bit, something like this. Let's see, I think this should be only by 5 degrees, then this one can be by 10, and this one back by 5, maybe something like this. Although we could maybe try experimenting by some larger angles. Maybe we can just try making it maybe 10 and then this one can be 20, then this one can be 10 again. Maybe something like this, so it's a little bit more apparent that it's like squiggly, or that it's not like perfectly still and stuff like that. So there's that, and then maybe we can also try to kind of figure out what our support is gonna look like, because of course this backside can just float in the sky. And also we can kind of try to figure out what kind of way, maybe we can do like a staircase or something like that, just so we have like one way the people are supposed to get up, and then a couple of slides where they can go downwards, although the players can of course run up and down these as well. We have spent quite some time on the last stream to figure out what kind of steepness we can get away with, and what is too much. So maybe we can try to kind of figure out maybe some kind of a ladder here in the back. So let's see, probably there should be like some kind of a staircase or a ladder, either from the back or from the side, but because our asset is already quite wide, I think it would make most sense if we will try to squeeze something in here. So maybe let's try to go with that. So let's see. Maybe we could do like some kind of a door here, although it would need to be made from separate blocks, otherwise we would get like a collision box all the way around it. Or we can try making like some like stairs and then just connect them with vertical lines, so that we end up with some kind of a ladder. So let's see, how tall is this actually? I guess we can try to duplicate like this tower and make it a little bit smaller. So let me just find the tower model here in the library. So slide and tower, we're gonna duplicate this into ladder side is gonna be the name of our new node, and then maybe we can make it a parent of this platform. Not a parent, a child of this platform. So let's create a child node. We're gonna call it ladder. And then let's attach our ladder model from the library. Let me just find where it is. Okay, ladder side. Then let's move it backwards and all the way to the ground. Let's see. And because it's like a relative position, it can be a little bit tricky. I think it's on the floor right now. Is there like a tiny gap? I don't think so. I think that's all right. And now let's make it a little bit smaller, or maybe especially it needs to be like narrower. So let's make it into something like 12 voxels in width. The height is about right, so we can change that a little bit later, and the depth can be maybe 32, although that can also be changed later on. And then let's adjust the pivot point to 6 and to 16. Cool. Where is our ladder? Okay. And then we basically need to, well, we could duplicate the node, but when we would kind of go along with our hierarchy, it might mess some things up. So let's just create a child node. It's going to be ladder side 0, because the first side is already on the node called ladder. So I guess that's all right. And then let's move this to the right. Maybe, let's see, We can leave maybe 2 blocks in the middle. Of course, there's going to be some padding because we don't have our pivot points straight on the edge, but this should probably be about wide enough. And then let's duplicate this into ladder step. And you can guess where this is going to go, right? So let's create another child node. It's going to be called ladder step 0, because we're going to use multiple of those. So it kind of helps if you number them from the start, unless you go with like ladder step 0, and then that, it kind of depends on the personal preference. So let's see, where is our ladder step? And then this one can, I guess, be rotated to the right by 90 degrees. And also let's position it so it's aligned. So the leftmost side of this one, or basically the bottom side before we rotated it, is aligned with the right side of this ladder side. Okay, there's like a lot of sides that I need to mention. And then this one can be, it doesn't have to be as thick as before, so maybe we can reduce this to 4 voxels. And then of course we can either reduce the size by reducing this, or we can just delete the unneeded stuff and then just trim the volume like this. Okay. And now let's try to figure out where we kind of want to put these. So maybe it can be 2 of them per block, so maybe at 16. And then let's duplicate the node into ladder step 1. And then we can move this one to 32. This might be a little bit too narrow, actually. Let's see, is this one at 16? Okay, and then the width or the thickness is like 4. So maybe we can add 4 to it. So if it's at 36, it still looks kind of close, but we'll see. And then we can duplicate it again into ladder step 2, and then move it upwards by 20 basically, so it's at 65. And then let's repeat the process a couple of times just so we can get all the way to the top. So not a child node, we need to duplicate it actually. So ladder step 3, and then this one goes to 76, and then maybe the 4th one, duplicate ladder step 4. This one is actually the 5th one because we started counting with 0, so my bad. So this one goes to 96. Okay, and as you can imagine, you can't really jump on these because they're all aligned perfectly. So what I was thinking of doing was to rotate this a little bit by maybe 10 degrees, and then we can do the rotation in the other direction, so these steps should be aligned with the ground. So we rotate them backwards by 10 degrees to kind of compensate for the rotation of the sides. And then we can try to test this out in the game maker, if you can actually get up and down these ladders. So let's export to marketplace. Let's wait a bit. There's quite a lot of nodes to be processed, so, and then in the meantime I can start the game maker, I guess, already, because that also sometimes takes a moment or two to start. Okay. Okay, so we are in. We were using the test map for testing these assets, so I guess we can get back to it again because we already have this saved. So hopefully once we restart the editor, we have our little ladder here at the back. And let's see, you can run up these slides, and then here you can get okay, so you can get kind of stuck here, but other than that you can more or less jump up and down this ladder. So this kind of works as it's supposed to, so that's good news. But I'm not sure why there's some weird clipping there, so we might need to investigate that a little bit further. Oops, those are my reference images. That was a misclick. And now we can get back to the Vox edit to continue working on this. And another thing I think might be useful to do. Oops, that's not the parent. This is the parent. We might be better off if we were to move the pivot point on the side. Let me just actually open it here. If we move this pivot point all the way to the back or to the rightmost node, and as you can see the steps are getting messed up a little bit, but what we do with that is when we rotate it backwards we don't create like a little gap there, so that helps a little bit. But then let's see what we can do with these steps. So I'm wondering if we were just to offset this pivot point by how much? Let's see, by 36. They kind of get aligned back where they should be. So there's a quick little fix so we don't need to adjust each one manually. So now let's move this to the left a little bit, and then it would also be kind of useful if we had like a little connection through here or something like that, just to kind of get the idea how much to the back and stuff we can go with this. So I don't think that the outer part of this is aligned with any of these lines at the bottom. So I guess we can create another child node here. This is going to be S014. And then let's add the long one. So that's the slide W3. And then we need to move it all the way to the right, kind of, so we can see a little bit better how these align. And now you can see that the bounding boxes don't intersect yet, so we can move this leftwards a little bit more, just so we can kind of have the same outline, and then we can rotate it inwards. So 1, 2. So that should be 10 degrees. And then now let's see if these are actually, yeah, we can move this up and down. And I was thinking if we could either get rid of one of these steps and then use this platform instead of it, or we could actually move them or space them out in a different way. So maybe we can move this upwards so it's aligned with this platform, and then the rest of them can be readjusted. So this one is at 103, and if we were to move this one downwards to maybe 13, we have like how much, 90 voxels in between. and then we need to create like 1, 2, 3, 4 spacings. So there should be like 22.5, I think. That's like 1/4 of 90. So 13 plus 22.5, that's like what, 37.5, I think. So let's move this upwards a little bit. 37.5. No? Okay, we need to move it manually. Let's try it. Okay, 37.5. And then the other one needs to be at like what? 37, 38, 40, so at 60, I think. And then the next one is at 82.5. Let's see if we can get there. So 82 and half a voxel. So that looks about right. At least I hope so. And then we can kind of figure out this side, how much we need to make it long. And I'm kind of thinking if this is the best way to do it, or if we should just adjust the ladder a little bit to the left so it's maybe centered in the middle of this platform. So let's see what we can do here. So this is the child of the, okay. So this node, so the center of this ladder was actually centered with this platform, and now we need to kind of readjust it. So these middle parts are like what, 52, so that's 26.5, and then 1/2 of this is 6, I think. So 26 plus 6, that's 32, right? Just doing some quick math. And let's see what happens if we move this by 32. Yeah, that's too much to the right, definitely. Maybe we can try with 16. So we're just gonna try some stuff out and see what kind of looks best. Let's see, can I get to 16? Yeah, that looks like it's about in the middle. And then let's try to figure out how wide this part needs to be. So maybe let's go and duplicate it. And then we can name this, I don't know, block something, and we'll see how long it actually needs to be. And this is at the top because it's called block with a B. And now we have everything ordered alphabetically, so yeah. And then we can go ahead and delete from here, and then just trim the volume, and we have a little bit under 2 blocks of width here. So yeah, what should we call that? Or this could be also called like ladder side or something like that, because we are probably gonna extend it all the way to the bottom, just so we don't use too many nodes. So let me see. Let's rename it into block 58. That's the width, and then I guess X, and then the height we still need to figure it out. So maybe that was a bit premature, but yeah. So 128 is still not enough. Let's try 132. Nope. 140. Okay, 140 should suffice. And that's the wrong color again, so let me just recolor that. And then we have our pivot point here in this, on this edge, so we can basically delete some of this excess stuff away. Okay, let's see. Okay, get rid of that. And then this voxel still needs to be here, otherwise we're gonna end up with the gap. So this one is, yeah, maybe we can call this wall, and then we can just use the width to kind of differentiate them from one another. So this can be maybe wall 58. That sounds pretty good, I guess. But since it's W, it's gonna end up somewhere at the bottom again, but whatever. So maybe wall 58, and that's the width. Okay, apparently it's still at the top, but yeah. So there we have it. And now we can also try to actually before we export this into the Vox the game maker oh my god, to try it out, I was thinking if we could maybe get rid of this step and then we just move the other ones gradually inwards. So this one is like extended outwards by one. Wait, we're moving the wait, what? Okay, we have the step selected. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 blocks, 8 voxels, my bad. So let's get rid of this node. And then we can indent each of these by 2 voxels inwards. So it should hopefully end up with something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then hopefully this top part kind of ends up as it's supposed to be to connect with the rest of these steps on the ladder. So now let's save. Then let's export to the marketplace so we can test it out in the game maker. Okay, we're gonna have to wait a second so everything loads up. And now we have our window. So let's replace asset, select our asset, and then let's click continue and then continue again. Okay. And now we should be able to see the updated version in the game maker. Once we, well, we'll see if it updates automatically or not. Okay, we don't have the wall yet, so let me quickly jump in and out. So it gets updated, and now we can see, we can walk downwards, which is kind of expected since we don't have different stuff there. And you can jump up and down on these steps as well, because of course the avatar doesn't jump high enough to just do the jump from the bottom to the top. Cool. And then let me just get rid of some of this stuff because it's not really relevant and it's just causing some issues for no particular reason. So that's saving. And I'm just gonna quit it because it has some problems updating the assets if you don't quit manually. So now we can get back to our Vox edit, and then we can continue making the walls. So basically this can be wall 128. So let's find our model. Let's duplicate this into wall 128. And then let me just check out the height on this one. So it's 134, just so we can extend it properly. And let's see where our walls are. And then let's put this to 134. And then let's fill it in. But let's pick the correct color first, just so we don't have to recolor it later on. And then if I did my math right, we should be, let's see, boom, boom, and then I think this one can also be a wall, boom, and there is some intersection actually, so that's not good. Let's see what we can do about that. And also let me just kind of see how wide this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Ooh. Okay. let's see. So this one is 32, I think. Yeah. So I'm just thinking whether we should extend the walls further to the back, or if we should just make this part a little bit narrow. So both of these are valid options, I guess. So I think we can just make wall 30 and we should be fine. So let's duplicate this into wall 30. And then of course we need to change the width from 58 to 30. And then let's see what we get when we attach that to this node. Wall 30. Okay, so that's aligned nicely. And then we can try to do something similar for the other side here. Although let me just check these dimensions because they seem okay. The dimensions aren't really a problem. I mean, these are pretty standard. But I guess we can duplicate this into, so let's duplicate node S015. Then let's nest it, and okay, that's pretty good actually. We can move it a little bit further to the right, just so it doesn't overlap with our ladder. Let's see how much further we can go. So from this side we can see a little bit better. So now we have what we wanted to have. And then I think we can squeeze in like one of these wider walls as well. So let's create a child node S016. And then let's try to put in the wall 128 here. Then let's extend it. I mean, let's move it to the right. So that's pretty cool. And then hopefully we have just enough overhang here. So when we rotate it, although, yeah, we might be a little bit too long here. So let me just try it out and see what we get. So create child node, it's gonna be S017, who would have thought? I mean, this is, we basically have like a whole hierarchy here around. That might not be the best, but yeah, we have what we have, and we'll see what we can do with that. So let me rotate this around, and then let me try to align it. Okay, I think that's perfect. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy right now. Okay, that's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. And then I guess we can do another one just so we can kind of get our outlines. So let's create a child node, right? Let me see, where is it? S018. And then let's attach this wall to it again. And then let's move it to the right. So 128. And then let's just save everything. So here at the front we have a couple of options what we can do with this more open part. So kind of two things that I had in mind. Maybe we can, now we can open our reference images a bit. So actually none of these have like that spiral slide, so that was one option what we could do, and the other option would be to just maybe make like some kind of a pool that's like here maybe, or yeah, none of these others really have pools. So yeah, we could make like a pool and then some jumping desk, I guess, or whatever it's called, like a plank. So from which the people would be kind of able to jump off, but of course in real world that's not really like advisable, because yeah, the water would be too shallow. So let me just do this all the way around. So let's create a couple more child nodes. So this one is going to be S019, and then let's attach our wall to it. Then let's move it here. Let's rotate. Oops. Rotate by 90 degrees, and then let's align it back with the other walls, and then let me just rotate it a little bit so we can see a bit better. Wait, what? Why are these over? So there's something not right. I think these might be, wait a sec. Okay, interesting. So these were, okay. So we need to actually rename this one into wall 32. My bad. I didn't realize it sooner. It was a mistake on the other part, not that this connecting part was too wide. So now we have this aligned. Okay, so this is also correct. And now let's also readjust this part to 144. And now everything should be fine and dandy. So let's just save. Then let's continue making our child nodes. So next one is S020. And then let's attach the wall to it. And then let's drag it to the right. And then I'm kind of undecided what we wanna do from this side here, and then like underneath. So do we wanna keep it like closed all the way, or do we wanna have something else here? So we can still decide about that. And I think there should be just enough space for one of these walls 32, which haven't been renamed yet. So let's rename it now. So wall 32. And then let's create another child node, S021. I thought we were gonna have multiple sides, but apparently we're just gonna have one really long side. So I mean, as long as it works, it probably isn't stupid. At least I hope so. Okay, so there's that. And now let's kind of try to figure out how we're gonna close this off. So let me reset the view. And now one option would be to kind of close it all the way from the side. The other one would be to kind of close it maybe diagonally, or like we would build like a little wall underneath here. So yeah, what would be the best option? That's the million-dollar question right now. I think it's kind of cool if we leave some of the gap underneath. So I'm just gonna try to figure out the size of a block that can just fit underneath here, and then it hopefully doesn't interfere with these collision boxes here, so you can still run up and down freely. So in that case it should probably be pretty narrow. And let me see, I guess we can duplicate this wall 128. So this is gonna be like a small wall 128. And then let's, yeah, I guess we just continue making child nodes here. So S022. is gonna be our small wall. Where are you, Mr. Small Wall? Okay, and now I think we should move this downwards, just so we don't see it anymore. Oh, and we are grabbing the wrong node. Okay, let's drag this downwards. So we don't see, you can still see like a little bit here. So 1 voxel downwards. Okay, great. And then let's drag it all the way to the right, or as much as possible, of course. And then let's try to figure out how much we can like cut off. So let's get rid of this. Okay. Okay. No, we didn't delete everything. Let me select this as well, or erase that to be precise. And then, yeah, I guess we can keep the depth. Yeah, we'll see if we have some problems on the other side, but hopefully we won't. And the width is still 128, so that's still going as planned. And then let's duplicate it. S023. So we already have like quite many nodes, and that's interesting relative position. So let me just put this to 0, and then let's drag this all the way to the right. And here you can see that that 128 might be a little bit too much, or not. Let's see. It's also the viewpoint that's kind of messing with me a little bit. So actually that's the perfect width, because we can just make some smaller walls here there that are gonna connect nicely with this part. So this is good. But now let's try to make some smaller walls, or maybe we can just model it kind of so it kind of follows this direction, because if we were just to make it, yeah, it's actually kind of best that I just do it, and then you're gonna see, then you're gonna be able to see for yourself what I think. So let's create a child node to the first one actually, and wait, what's going on right now? Create a child node, S024. Wait, what? Yeah. We don't want to do it there. We actually want to do it. Which one is it? Okay. We want to add it here. So create child node. That's gonna be S020. Let's try 3. Okay, so this one is already taken, so the next one is S024. And where are you? Okay, so here we have it. And then we can find this wall 128 and duplicate it into the wall slide side, although we might already have that. No, we don't. That's good. So let's drag it here. Let's drag it. Oh no. Let's select the appropriate node first, and then let's drag it now towards the left. Okay. And then first we can erase some of it here at the top. So maybe we can just move it downwards like this, and you can see that there's some overlap or that there's some part of it sticking out of the slide, so we're gonna have to correct that as well. So let's first erase some of these unneeded voxels here, and then we can get onto this corner and then just simply cut it out like this. Okay, and then another little thing that we can do Also first let's trim the volumes, and then we can offset our pivot point by like 0.1 or something, just so it doesn't like fight with the slide. So the slide is on the top and this is like underneath. So if we were to color it with some color, you can see that it stays underneath. So that's also pretty good. Although there's like some kind of a weird visual bug. When you zoom out, you can see here that we have like some glitches occasionally, but once you zoom in, they should disappear. I don't know why this happens sometimes, but yeah, there's that also. Just don't let it catch you off guard. I mean, here it looks kind of fine, and then here it doesn't look fine at all. So we have this outline now, or like our wall, so it doesn't look like it's floating on the ground anymore. And then like another little thing that we might be able to do would be to just kind of do some kind of a shape here on the inside, because otherwise you can kind of see the insides of the castle, which isn't like too problematic, but I mean, why keep it if we can just add like one additional I'm just thinking yeah, 1 or 3 maybe, we'll see. So maybe we can reuse these, or like make them a little bit smaller, but we can then squeeze them not this way. Come on, Mr. Camera, work with me. Okay, we're in. And then let's try to create another child node. That's gonna be like wall inside 0. And let's see, where is that one? Okay, there we have it. And then let's see, which one do we want to duplicate? Maybe the wide one. So this one can be called wall inside, and then we're gonna use like 3 of those. So one is gonna be here. Then let's drag it downwards. Okay, and then let's rotate. Whoa, what's going on? Where is it? What happened? Okay, let's rotate it to 270. Okay, and then let's push it inwards so we can see the inner bounding box. And then let's push this also closer to the ladder. But of course we need to keep in mind the width of the ladder. So I think there's 128 in between, or is it just 64? Let me see. Okay, so 64, and then we need to add 12, I think, because of the padding on the ladders. So yeah. So 128, so that's 140, right? 128 plus 12. So let me just make this a little bit shorter into, wait a sec, 64 plus 12. Yeah, that's 76, I think. It should be. Hopefully I did the math right, and otherwise we're gonna see pretty soon that there's some stuff that's not really the way it's supposed to be. So there's that, and then we can also make these thinner, because there's not really any particular reason why we would want to keep them as wide as they are. And then let's move the pivot point to 2. Okay, let's readjust our camera again. so we can see the inside. Then let's create a child node. This one is going to be called wall inside 1. Very like unique names. Then let's drag this here. Let's rotate it around. So 90 degrees. That's good. And then let's move it inwards a little bit, just so these two are yeah, they're not aligned yet, right? Let's see. Oh no. Why does it have to be on the top side? Is that aligned now? Okay, so it's aligned here and there, so that's hopefully good. And then I guess we can move this inwards. And then let's duplicate this node into wall inside 2. And then let's put it here. And then, yeah, I guess it's not really sticking out, but yeah, we can try to readjust it a little bit so it's at least centered. So here is on one edge, then maybe something like this, so it's in the middle. And then you can still kind of see some of the ground underneath, but you don't see the whole inside, which is good. And then I guess we can move this forwards even. Oh no. Yeah, these are the issues of parenting basically. And yeah, when you have parent and child nodes. So we can readjust this by moving it backwards, so 38, and then, okay, this one is 40, so let's move this one backwards by 40 as well. But why is this not working as I wanted to? Okay, it's probably because we don't have it, because we have our pivot point in the middle, so we need to compensate for that. At least I think so. So let's move this to -36. And then this one is aligned nicely, so hopefully now it is centered. Okay. And then I was thinking that maybe we could try to do like some kind of a spiral slide here on the last part that we haven't built anything on. And it can be kind of difficult to do like really nice rounded shapes. And also we can see we have some issues here because this color is getting over. So let me just fix this real quickly. So this doesn't really require much. We're just gonna create additional face or two. So we can just make this one voxel narrower, and that should fix it, hopefully. Let's see. Okay, on the outside it looks fine, and on the inside, okay, there's still some of it sticking out, so I see you there. Okay, we have deleted a little bit. We haven't deleted enough basically, so we need to get rid of that as well. And then let me just kind of check. Yeah, then you can see that's a really interesting problem actually. Yeah, you can see like a tiny gap here. Wait, no. Okay, I think it should be fine if we do this here. Let's see, and then let's extend this all the way to the end, just so we don't create too many faces for no good reason. But now I think this part is visible from the inside. This little edge. Let's see. Or not. That's good. So from the inside it looks good. From the outside it looks good. And then from here, there doesn't appear to be any kind of a hole, so it seems we have fixed it. Great. That's good. That's always nice to hear, I guess. So for the slide, I think that the easiest way to do it, or like the most logical way, would be to do something similar to here. So the corners are basically squares and they're horizontal, and then you connect them with diagonal slides basically. So I guess we can try to do this on a bit larger scale here. Let's see. So this one is gonna be like a little bit narrower than these. These are like 2 blocks wide, and this one is probably just gonna be 1 block, or maybe 1.5. Though I'm not too sure about that. So maybe we can just duplicate our platform. It's gonna be a slide corner, I guess 32 by 32. So these are gonna be just like our regular corners. Let me see, where is the S? Slide, come on, where's the slide corner? Okay. And then we already know that we need to change the dimensions to 32 by 32. And then let's also change the pivot point to 16 and 16. Okay. So there we have that. And then for the long parts, we'll see. We can try making them like 2 blocks long, but that might be a little bit too short, because actually when it makes the whole rotation, it needs to be like at least 2 or ideally at least 3 blocks higher, because otherwise the player is just gonna get stuck when they try to move. So we're gonna experiment a little bit with that. So slide straight 32x 64. And sometimes you can't get really dimension ideas from these thumbnails, so that's why I have named some of these with like dimensions. So let's try to find it now where it has hidden. So slide straight. Okay, there it is. And then let's just change this to 64. And then also we're gonna need to change the pivot point so we don't get any gaps when we try to rotate. So let's move this to 0 and this to 4. Cool. And now we can start making our slide. So let's just collapse all of these. And then let's create another child node, which is gonna be like a spiral slide. And then I guess it can end with the straight one. And then we're gonna basically build it from the bottom upwards. So let me grab this and drag it further here. Nope, we want to move it inwards a little bit. Then let's create a child node. It's gonna be, I guess we can call this SS, like spiral slide. And then we're just gonna call them 0 and 1. Or maybe we can rename it like spiral slide straight 0. So let's put this one here. Then let's rotate it. I think we can get away with 30 degrees, but we'll see about that. And then let's create another child node. This is going to be spiral slide platform 0. That one is going to be the corner one, or maybe it can be SSC 0. So spiral slide corner 0. SSC 0. Okay. And then Oops. And then I think we need to readjust the pivot point for this one as well. So it's at 4 voxels at the top, and then maybe we can move it to 0 as well. We'll see about that. Okay. And now let's grab this one and then drag it all the way to the end of it. And then let's rotate it backwards, or like to the right. So it kind of cancels the rotation and gets to the horizontal level. And then let's continue by creating another child node. And this one is going to be SSS1. And then let's put the straight part here. Let's rotate it by 90 degrees. And then let's offset it so it's centered with the corner part at 16. Then let's rotate it to 30 degrees, like so. And then you can see we're getting some gaps here. So yeah, we might, well, perhaps we should change the pivot point to the bottom one, but now I think it would be just the best to kind of test if this layout is actually working, and then we can also decide if we want to make it a little bit wider or anything like that. So let me just export this whole thing to the marketplace, and we'll see what happens in the game maker. Okay, let's replace asset. So there's that. Then let's open the game maker. Let's open our test map. Let's wait for it to load up. Okay, and there we have our little slide. And let's see if we can run up. We can, so that's good. That's great, actually. And we can make it a little bit wider, I think. And then we can also kind of try to think what it's gonna, how it's gonna work with the, like if we make some guardrails or something like that. So let's quit this for now. Let's get back to VoxEdit. Let's see what we can do. So why is this not, wait, what? I can't select my stuff anymore. What's going on? Let me just save and then relaunch maybe. May I select now? Okay. We have fixed our issue. And then let's also change the pivot point to the 0 location. So we have that. And then I guess this is sticking out a little bit more. So we can move everything downwards. So to -2 maybe. And then, okay, this part is good. This one needs some readjustment. So let's rotate, let's readjust, and then let's rotate it back. And then I think we can make this like 48 wide. So let's just change the corner to slide corner 48. Maybe we can just do it like that. So it's kind of obvious what we're doing. And then, okay, so this is the wrong one, but we can still make it wider. We can also pick the correct color. And then let's also move the pivot point to 24, so it's centered there. And then all we need to do is to change the corner to be 48 by 48. And then we can also, come on, let me pick this color. And then we can also try to do some guardrails, but in this case, I was thinking of making them on the platform, but of course the collision box wouldn't work properly if we did it that way. So I guess we're gonna have to create some more nodes then. And I guess we can also just do the base first, and then I can do the rails later on. Just so we can test if everything works as expected in the game maker, and then the rest can be taken care of later. So wait a moment, why is the pivot point on the bottom here? Okay, it is. It's just a little bit weird when you view a 3D model on 2D screen. You can sometimes see some stuff incorrectly. And I guess we can try going with 30 degrees. I don't think we can get to 35. Let's see, how much did we use here? So this one is, wait, 0. Okay, 5, 10, so that's 20. And this one is straight already. Wait, what? Okay, I don't know. Let's not mess with that. And also, our stuff is lagging again. Oh no, that's not a good sign. We have messed something up, didn't we? Let me save. Okay, it's still not working. What if we change our tools? Still not working? Oh no. Let's try to relaunch it. Let's see. Okay, now it's working. Let's hope it keeps working. Okay, so this one is SSC1. Who doesn't love making up unique names? And also I think we should rename the straight compartment to slide straight 48x64, just so we keep our naming consistent with what it actually is. So this is moved to 64. Let's rotate it backwards. Okay, now it's not even telling me by how much it's rotating, and also there's something weird. Okay, Voxide, it doesn't like me too much today apparently. And also there seems to be a little bit of an offset in some of these. Let me just double check that. Yeah, this needs to be moved to 24, not to 26. Okay. Okay, we're getting there. Slowly, but we're getting there. So now this is centered. And then this is centered as well. Now let's rotate this so it's horizontal. And now I think if we duplicate this part, so let's duplicate node into SSS2 and then attach it here. Yeah, nice. It keeps building itself up. So let's do this a couple more times. So SSS3. And then maybe we can do another loop so it goes all the way up. So a little bit higher than what we have right now. So, and also I guess we need 1, 2 maybe, so we can just duplicate this one and then hopefully it should work as intended. Or this one actually. Let me duplicate into SSS4. And if we attach it here, we get it all the way to the top. So that's good. And then we just need to kind of figure out what kind of an offset we're gonna use. We can't really move it too far out because then it's gonna, well, it's gonna make the asset even larger than it already is. So maybe we can move it to something like 40. So even after we add like, so basically we have one block here if you compare it with this tower on the side. So even after we add the side rails, we should still be fine. And now let's kind of check how tall this actually is, and if the avatar can even get on the all the way up, or if it gets stuck somewhere in the middle. So that's also good to check. So let's export it again. And let's wait a bit for it to process everything. Okay, we're getting there. Oh, come. Oh well, that was one hell of a misclick. My bad. Sorry. Now we need to wait again. I should be just using like hotkeys. You can't misclick with hotkeys, so okay. Replace, select, continue. That's done. And then let's get to here. Open our test map. And let's update this. Oh, that's one hell of a... Oh. Where's my new slide? Come on, dude. Stop messing with me. What the heck is going on? Okay, apparently we're having some more issues than expected. So in VoxEdit there's a new thingy. And let me just go and check on... Yeah, I'm just gonna relaunch here if it gets fixed. But... Come on, where's... Now I can't even see the cursor anymore. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Apparently there's some weird thing going on. Let me just check if what kind of model is actually uploaded on the marketplace or like in the inventory. Let me just quickly go to where? Unpublished. Let's go to inflatable castle. Okay, apparently, yeah. I have no idea why I didn't basically update, so that's really odd. I guess the third time's the charm, right? Export to marketplace, and hopefully this time it actually works as it's supposed to. Come on. VoxEdit, don't let me down. Okay, I guess we should check the preview now. So replace asset, or actually we don't see the preview even. Okay, so here you can see we have the full slide before it bugged out, so... Oh well. Let's hope it works this time. So maybe now? Nope. Let's relaunch the experience. That's a little bit unlucky today. Okay, fingers crossed. Okay, finally. Let's test it out. Okay, so you can see that this is quite tall enough. And then I'm just wondering why we're getting some of these. Yeah, we can change that later on, but we can more or less, if I wasn't as clumsy, let me just slowly get up here. Okay, so we can get all the way up. That's good. But there are some minor thingies that I would like to change if it's possible. So let's get back to VoxEdit. And what I had in mind, okay, so here are these weird offsets What happened here? And do we have that on all? Okay, so here we have nicely done. And here it's messed up. Okay. Let me. Yeah, and now this bugger is bugging me. So let's restart it. And now we basically need to unrotate this downwards. Yeah, we have a couple of voxels. Yeah, I was clumsy, I guess. So we need to readjust most of them because I was just duplicating and stacking them. So yeah, my bad again. So this, and now let's rotate it upwards again. So 330, and then this one here to the right, and upwards to 330, and then just 2 more, and then this should be done. And then maybe we can just try to add some of those guardrails or something like that, just so it's a little bit more difficult for the players to fall off. So here, and then 30. Cool, let's save. And now let's see. For the corner ones, we actually can't even make an L shape because it's gonna create like a collision box, so we need to make it from 2 parts. And yeah, we basically need 2 lengths of the rail. We need one that's 48 and one that's 64. So let's duplicate this into I don't know, slide rail 48, and that one is gonna be here. Let's edit that real quickly. So it's gonna be a little bit more narrow. I mean, it's not gonna be square, that's definitely out of the question, so maybe it can be 8, and then we can make it a little bit taller, so maybe 12. And then let's pick the color that we want. And let's double check the pivot point, which is now incorrect. So let's move it to the middle, and then to the bottom, like this. And now let's try to add it to all of the corners. So create child node. And then we're gonna start making some more of these weird abbreviations. So I guess something like this. And I guess since we now know that this works, I'm just gonna get rid of some of this stuff, and then we're gonna just duplicate this back again when we have our base stuff done. So let me find it would be actually really useful if we had like a search function in the library. So let's see, where is the slide rail something? Okay, here it is. And then let's move it on the side. Nope, that's the wrong model. To 28, and then well, we could move it downwards a little bit. Why not? And then let's duplicate it into SSC01, and then this one is gonna be rotated by 90 degrees. So come on, to 270. Then let's move it to the right, and then let's move it to the right again. So there we have this, and then I guess we don't really need to make this corner like like too square. It also kind of adds a little bit to the roundness of our slide, so I think this is fine. And then let's just duplicate this into slide rail 64, and you can guess that this one is going to be for the longer part. So let's add it, let's change this to 64, and then let's fill this in. So that's good. And then let's add it to both sides on the longer one. So create child node, SSS00. Where are you? Slide rail, okay. Here, and then let's move this. Let's move this to the right. And then we can move it upwards as well. But let's see, something like this. And then you can see we have some gap here, so we'll fix that in a moment. Well, at least we'll try to fix it. We'll see how successful we are. And then duplicate node SSS01. And then this one is gonna go on the other side. So -28, and this one is gonna be at +28. So that's cool. And then I guess we can already duplicate this, right? So let's see. Let me minimize all of this. And then duplicate node SSS1. It's gonna be attached to this node, I think. But we need to basically reset the offsets and everything. So let's change the rotation to 0. Let's change the offset to 0, kind of. We'll see. Now let's rotate it into the other direction that we want. Now let's try to align this nicely, like this, and then let's move it downwards as well. And then let's rotate it by 30 degrees backwards, something like this. Okay, and here we can see a couple of problems that we have. It's like it's these inner rails that are a little bit too long, and these outer rails that are a little bit too short. So yeah, let's see how we can fix that. So one option would be to extend this one a little bit further, so maybe to 66. And then we would need 2 of those actually. So before we do anything rash, let me just duplicate this into slide rail 64 outside. And then the other one, this one is going to be slide rail 64 inside. Because yeah, as you can see, we won't be, I mean, we could, but yeah, I don't like it if there are 2 different, or if these 2 are the same actually. So let's change this one to the outside. The inside can be cropped actually, so we can trim the volumes, and we can also trim some of this here. So maybe like this. I mean, there's gonna be some spike, I guess, but that's already quite a lot better if we do it like this. So that's good for now. And then let me try to fix the outer side as well. So this one can be extended outwards a little bit, and then we can, I guess, just fill it with this color again. And then let's extend the rail as well. And we'll see if this gets to bite us in our arse, but yeah. So maybe we can flip this one. Yeah, no. Let's see, how do we want to do that? 56 maybe. Let's move it to the right so we have actually room on the left, and then let's also adjust the pivot point so we have room on the left. Now we can get rid of the pivot point, and then let's just fill something like this. I think this should be good enough. And let's see what we have going on. So there's slight overlap, but again, I don't think that's too problematic. So we can keep these two the same. Actually, kind of. But here we have some gap, probably because this one is the inside one, and we need to change it into the outside one. Cool. So hopefully that's fixed, and now we can finish off our slide. So let's just duplicate this again, SSS2, and then this one needs to be nested to the SSC. Okay, it's getting a little bit complicated. And now let's duplicate this again into SSS3, and then this one needs to be nested to which one? Here. Okay. And now we need two more, so we can duplicate this one that we have selected. Okay. And then let's duplicate this one into SSS4. That's gonna be nested with the SSSC parenthesis 3. Oh, wait a moment. Okay, so that's the wrong parent. My bad. We need to open this up further, so we need to nest it here. Okay, so now we got it all the way to the top. Nice. Let's save this, and then we can tinker a little bit with this around. So maybe we can delete another layer or two here, just so we make the collision box even slightly smaller. Let's see what this looks like now. So that's pretty good. And I think we don't have like really large gaps anywhere. Cool. So let me just test this in the game maker, and if everything works as intended, I think I'm just gonna end it here for today. And probably the tomorrow stream is gonna be a little bit later than usual, but of course we're still gonna have one on Monday as well. So this one today is a little bit extra because I'm well, I have a little bit more time here over the summer, at least on certain days, and on other days I'm a little bit more busy than usual. So let me just update the asset, and let's pray it works in the game maker. So let's open the map, let's press edit, let's wait for it to load, and let's see what we got. Okay, so this is still the old version. And okay, we have our new version. Great. So let's test it out. Okay, so now you can see that I'm not jumping or anything. I'm just using my WASD keys, so you get stuck on the edge, so you don't fall off. But other than that, it works as intended. So that's great. And let me just kind of try to see if there are some gaps or something that we might need to fix, but from now it looks pretty good. So that's our current I guess layout that we have for our castle, and we'll see how much longer we need to complete it. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we see each other some next time. So until then, bye bye.